Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books so you can find your next read. Let's get started.
Okay.
Today, we're diving deep into Gentleman and a Thief by Dean Jobb.
Ah,
It's the story of Arthur Berry.
right.
Have you ever heard of him?
I haven't.
He was a World War I veteran
Oh, wow.
who became a notorious jewel thief during the Roaring Twenties.
Wow. A real-life Jekyll and Hyde story,
Yeah,
full of intrigue and contradictions.
I know, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, you have this decorated war hero,
Right.
and on the other, a cunning criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
What I found really interesting was how Jobb weaves Barry's personal story into the larger context of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not just getting a biography here,
Right.
but a glimpse into a very specific period of American history.
Yeah.
For example, Barry's childhood in a three-decker tenement in Worcester, Massachusetts,
Right.
wasn't unique.
Yeah.
This kind of poverty was a breeding ground for crime.
Makes you wonder how much his environment shaped his choices.
Yeah, definitely.
Even as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
he was already in trouble with the law,
Uh-huh.
labeled a stubborn child.
Yeah, I see.
He ends up at Concord Reformatory,
Okay.
which Jobb describes as a school for criminals.
Wow.
Not exactly the best place for rehabilitation.
Oh, right. And that's a recurring theme in the book.
Interesting.
Jobb questions whether institutions like this
Yeah.
actually perpetuated criminal behavior
Uh-huh.
instead of correcting it.
Okay.
Then, of course, you have the impact of World War I.
Right.
Barry served as a medic,
Mm-hmm.
witnessed unimaginable horrors, and even received the Distinguished Service Cross for bravery.
It's incredible to think about the psychological toll
Yeah.
that must have taken on him.
Absolutely.
The book mentions a shooting incident after the war
Okay.
where Barry was accused of murder,
Mm-hmm.
though he was never convicted.
Oh, wow.
It seems like the war changed him.
Yeah.
But perhaps not in the way you'd expect from a hero.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems his wartime experiences may have desensitized him
Okay.
to violence,
Yeah.
making a life of crime seem less shocking.
Right.
Soon after, he commits his first burglary at age 20,
Okay.
targeting a home in Yonkers.
So that's when Arthur Berry, the gentleman
Yeah.
thief, really emerges.
Yes, exactly.
And he had a very particular style, didn't he?
He did.
Targeting wealthy estates,
Right.
often during dinner time,
Uh-huh.
earning him the nickname the dinner thief.
I see.
He was meticulous,
Mm-hmm.
disabling alarms,
Yeah.
using ladders,
Okay.
and wearing gloves.
Wow.
This wasn't just petty theft.
Right.
It was planned and executed with precision.
And he was incredibly good at it.
Yeah.
But what's even more fascinating is how he used his charm and charisma
Yeah.
to gain access to these wealthy circles.
Okay.
He adopted the alias Arthur Gibson
Uh-huh.
and started attending high society parties, essentially befriending the people he planned to rob.
It's almost like he enjoyed the thrill of the game
Yeah,
as much as the actual loot.
absolutely.
Yeah. The Cousin Estate heist is a perfect example.
Okay.
Here he is partying with the Prince of Wales, and at the same time,
Yeah.
he's making off with jewels worth over $1 million.
That heist really captures Barry's audacity.
I know, it's crazy.
Think about it.
Yeah.
He was mingling with royalty
Right.
while simultaneously planning their downfall.
Unbelievable.
This also speaks to the societal dynamics of the Roaring Twenties.
Okay.
There was a sense of excess
Mm-hmm.
and vulnerability among the wealthy elite,
Yeah.
which Barry exploited masterfully.
It makes you wonder how much trust he built up with these people,
Right?
only to betray it in such a calculated way.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He played the part of the gentleman so convincingly
Right.
that no one suspected a thing.
Wow.
And he nearly got away with it, too.
Oh, really?
But then there's the Plaza Pearls heist, which introduces another intriguing character.
Oh, interesting.
Noel Scaffa, a famous private detective known as the Great Retriever.
Oh, so this is where the cat and mouse chase begins.
Yes, and
Uh-oh.
it's quite a dramatic one.
Mm-hmm.
Barry steals a collection of pearls worth a staggering $700,000
Wow.
from Jessie Woolworth Donahue,
Okay.
an heiress to the Woolworth fortune,
Right.
from her suite at the Plaza Hotel.
The Plaza Hotel.
Yeah.
That's an iconic New York landmark.
Absolutely.
Must have been quite the scandal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this time, Barry doesn't completely get away.
Okay.
He tries to negotiate the return of the pearls
Ugh.
through Scaffa
Right.
for a hefty sum.
Yeah.
But there's a twist.
Oh, really?
Barry demands cash,
Uh-huh.
but Scaffa shows up with a certified check, throwing a wrench in their agreement.
That seems very bold.
Yeah.
Even for a detective.
Right.
I wonder if Scaffa did that intentionally,
Yeah.
knowing Barry might not accept a check.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that Barry insisted on cash.
Mm.
It reveals a certain code of conduct, a preference for old-school methods,
Yeah.
even in the midst of this high-stakes game.
It definitely challenges the stereotype of a greedy, ruthless thief.
Yeah.
He had principles,
Hmm?
albeit within the context of his criminal activities.
Right.
This is where the book takes another interesting turn.
Okay.
Barry's relationship with Anna Blake
Right.
adds a whole new layer of complexity.
Anna Blake wasn't just some random woman.
Right.
She was a Tammany Hall district captain,
Okay.
connected to one of the most powerful political machines in American history.
Wow. So Barry was navigating not just the world of high society,
Exactly.
but also the murky waters of New York City politics.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how deep his web of connections truly was.
And their relationship raises many questions.
Yeah, like what?
How did they meet?
Mm.
What role did Anna play in his schemes?
Right.
And how did she reconcile her position in Tammany Hall with being the wife of a notorious jewel thief?
This is definitely a story that keeps getting more intriguing.
It is.
I'm eager to learn more about Anna Blake and the dynamics of their relationship.
Okay.
It seems like we've only scratched the surface of Arthur Barry's extraordinary life.
We've laid the groundwork,
Right.
but there's so much more to explore.
Okay.
Arthur Barry's life was a whirlwind of contradictions. He was a war hero and a criminal mastermind, a charming gentleman and a cunning thief. And his relationship with Anna Blake adds another layer of intrigue to this already complex tale.
I have so many questions like, how did they meet? What role did she play in his criminal escapades? And how did she reconcile her position in Tammany Hall with being the wife of a notorious jewel thief?
Well, their meeting was quite serendipitous. They were introduced by Jimmy Hines,
Okay.
a powerful Tammany Hall leader at the Monongahela Club, one of the organization's many clubhouses.
So Barry was rubbing shoulders with the political elite as well. It's like he moved effortlessly between these different worlds.
Exactly. He had a knack for blending in, for adapting to his surroundings. Jobb describes Anna Blake as a survivor, a woman who had faced her own share of hardships.
The book mentions that she lost both of her parents at a young age. That must have been incredibly difficult.
It was, and it likely shaped her resilience and her determination. After her parents' death, she was raised by her older siblings in New York City. By the time she met Barry,
Right.
she was a widow and a well-respected district captain in Hines Tammany Hall organization.
So she was a woman of influence in her own right,
Yeah.
not just someone who was swept up in Barry's world.
Precisely. She was a savvy political operative, someone who knew how to navigate the complexities of Tammany Hall, for those of you who may not know.
Right.
Tammany Hall was a powerful political machine that controlled New York City politics for decades. They had a reputation for both corruption and for helping immigrants and the working class.
It sounds like a fascinating and complicated organization.
Yeah, it was.
So how did Anna react when she found out about Barry's secret life as a jewel thief?
According to Jobb, she didn't seem to mind at all.
Oh, wow.
She was attracted to his charm, his charisma, and maybe even the excitement that came with his lifestyle. The book quotes her as saying,
Okay.
"He was handsome, gay, and kind. That was enough for me."
It's interesting that she seemed willing to overlook his criminal activities. I wonder if she saw a different side of him,
Yeah.
a side that the public never got to see, or maybe she was drawn to the danger and intrigue.
It's hard to say for sure,
Right.
but their relationship clearly had a big impact on both of their lives.
Yeah.
They were married in December 1925, and for a while, they enjoyed a life of luxury funded by Barry's stolen fortunes. But as they say, all good things must come to an end.
And Barry's luck eventually ran out. The book talks about his capture in 1927, what led to his downfall. Was it one big mistake or a series of smaller missteps?
It was probably a combination of things: overconfidence, a relentless detective, and maybe even a bit of bad luck.
Okay.
Barry had been so successful for so long that he might have started to underestimate his opponent. He had a system, and it worked. He was meticulous.
Yeah.
He avoided violence, and he was careful about choosing his targets.
But it's often when people are at the height of their success
Yeah.
that they become most vulnerable.
You're absolutely right. Jobb highlights the role of Harold King,
Okay.
a Nassau County detective who was determined to bring Barry down.
Interesting.
King was a meticulous investigator,
Yeah.
the kind of guy who wouldn't give up until he got his man.
So it became a battle of wits
Yeah,
between a master thief and a determined detective.
exactly.
Interesting.
And a pivotal moment in this battle was the Livermore robbery, one of Barry's most daring heists.
Okay.
This time he targeted the Long Island estate of Jesse Livermore, a legend of the stock market.
I remember reading about that. Wasn't it a particularly brazen robbery?
It was Barry and his accomplice, James Monaghan,
Like,
actually confronted Livermore and his guests in their bedroom.
oh, wow.
They made off with a lot of valuable jewels, but they also left behind some crucial evidence.
What kind of evidence? I thought Barry was known for being so careful.
He was,
Right.
but everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
This time they left behind fingerprints they were seen by witnesses,
Yeah.
and they made a few careless errors that allowed Detective King to connect the dots.
It's a reminder that even the most skilled criminals can slip up.
Precisely. And in Barry's case, those slip-ups proved to be his downfall. The book describes his arrest at Anna Blake's bungalow in Lake Ronkonkoma.
Okay.
It must have been a dramatic moment for everyone involved.
I can only imagine. So after years of living the high life,
Right.
Barry was finally brought to justice. But his story doesn't end there, does it?
Not at all. This is just the beginning of another chapter. A chapter that involves a daring escape from prison years spent on the run, and even a wrongful accusation in the Lindbergh baby kidnapping case.
This is getting more and more unbelievable. I can't wait to hear what happened next. We left off with Arthur Barry behind bars. His reign as a gentleman thief seemingly over. But as we know, Barry's story is full of twists and turns. What happens next?
Well, even prison couldn't hold Arthur Barry for long.
Yeah.
In 1929, he escaped from Auburn Prison.
Seriously. How did he pull that off?
It was quite an elaborate plan, as Jobb describes it.
Yeah?
A smuggled gun, a diversionary fire,
Oh,
even a rope ladder fashioned from bed sheets.
okay.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie.
I know, right?
Barry, along with two other inmates, managed to overpower a guard scale the prison walls and disappear into the night.
I bet that made headlines across the country.
You bet it did.
Yeah.
He was public enemy #1,
Right.
with newspapers offering rewards for information leading to his capture.
Wow. So he's on the run again.
He is.
Did he go back to his old tricks or did he try to lay low?
He actually managed to stay hidden for 3 years,
Really?
living a double life right under everyone's noses.
Wow.
He used aliases,
Okay.
relied on a network of loyal friends,
Right.
and even spent some time living in Newark, New Jersey.
That must have taken incredible nerve, considering he was one of the most wanted men in America.
It really speaks to his adaptability
Yeah.
and his ability to charm people,
Wow.
even while on the run.
Yep.
Jobb describes an incident where Barry befriended some police officers who frequented a restaurant he was living above.
What?
Imagine that, a fugitive hiding in plain sight, right under the noses of the law.
It's almost too unbelievable, like something out of a crime novel.
Right.
But eventually, even the most cunning fugitives make mistakes.
They do.
What brought Barry down this time?
Well, after years of living on the edge, it
Yep.
seems the pressure and constant fear of being caught started to take a toll.
Okay.
And then there was a stroke of bad luck.
Oh.
He was recognized by a former prison guard
Oh, no.
while dining at a restaurant.
Not that good.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
That encounter led to a tip, and in 1932, Barry was arrested once again.
Oh, wow.
It seemed like his luck had finally run out.
Back to prison. You'd think that would be the end of his story, but I have a feeling there's more to come.
You're right.
Okay.
While incarcerated, Barry was caught up in another sensational story, the Lindbergh baby kidnapping.
Wow, the Lindbergh kidnapping. That was a huge national tragedy.
It was,
How was Barry involved?
well, a tabloid columnist, eager for a sensational story, accused Barry of being involved in the kidnapping.
Oh, wow.
The columnist drew comparisons between Barry's methods as a jewel thief
Okay.
and the way the Lindbergh baby was taken. Ladders,
Right.
nighttime entries, no forced entry.
But kidnapping a baby is a far cry from stealing jewels. Do you think there was any real evidence linking Barry to the crime?
Not really.
Okay.
It seems like the columnist was grasping at straws, trying to capitalize on Barry's notoriety.
Yeah.
The authorities investigated the claims, but found no credible evidence to connect him to the Lindbergh kidnapping.
Okay.
It was a case of guilt by association. Yeah. Fueled by sensationalism.
It's a reminder that fame, even infamous fame, can distort people's perceptions
Absolutely.
and lead to unfounded accusations.
Exactly. After this ordeal, Barry ended up spending a total of 25 years in prison.
That's a long time. What happened to him during those years? Did prison finally break his spirit?
It was a stark change from his life of freedom and adventure.
Yeah.
The book mentions that he was subjected to solitary confinement for a period,
Right.
a brutal punishment that highlights the harsh realities of prison life.
It's a good reminder that while we're fascinated by the stories of criminals,
Yeah,
we shouldn't romanticize their lives.
absolutely.
Prison is a very real,
Is
often dehumanizing experience.
very much so.
So he finally gets released in 1949. What did he do after that? Did he try to rebuild his life, or was he tempted to go back to his old ways?
Remarkably, he seems to have turned his life around.
Really?
She returned to Worcester, Massachusetts,
Okay.
and became a respected veterans advocate.
Really? That's a
Yeah.
complete transformation.
It is.
Wow.
He dedicated himself to helping other former prisoners reintegrate into society and find jobs. It seems like he was determined to use his experiences, both good and bad,
Yeah.
to make a positive difference.
That's truly inspiring. It shows that people can change even after making serious mistakes.
Arthur Berry's life was a testament to that he was a man of contradictions, capable of both great daring and genuine compassion.
It sounds like Gentleman and a Thief is more than just a true crime story.
Yeah.
It's a story about redemption, second chances, and the complexities of human nature.
Exactly. It's a book that will stay with you long after you finish reading it, prompting you to think about the choices we make, the
Yeah.
consequences we face,
Right.
and the possibilities for change that exist within us all.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into a life that was anything but ordinary.
Hmm.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge and spread the word.